On the night of April 11, 1981, in a quiet resort town in California, a woman named Glenna Sue Sharp was staying in cabin 28 with her children. The cabin was part of a small community known as Keddie. It was peaceful, isolated, the kind of place where people didn't lock their doors. Inside the cabin that night were Sue, her 15-year-old son John, his friend Dana Wingate, and Sue's 12-year-old daughter Sheila. Sheila was sleeping over at a nearby cabin with friends. Sometime during the night, someone entered cabin 28. There were no signs of forced entry. The killer, or killers, moved quietly. Inside, Sue, John, and Dana were attacked brutally. The scene was violent. Sue was found bound with electrical wire and tape. John and Dana had also been restrained. All three were murdered inside the living room. But what made the case even more disturbing was who wasn't there. Sue's youngest daughter, Tina, age 12, was missing. Not in the house, not among the victims. Gone. In the morning, Sheila returned home. She opened the door and walked straight into the scene. Her mother, her brother, their friend, all dead. Police were called immediately. The investigation began, but from the start, things didn't make sense. The house showed signs of a struggle. But there were no clear fingerprints, no forced entry. And strangely, 3 other children had been sleeping in a nearby room during the murders. They were unharmed. They claimed they heard nothing, not a single scream, not a sound. Investigators believed the killer may have known the victims or had been inside before. Then came a critical detail. A hammer and a knife were found at the scene. Days passed, then weeks. No sign of Tina. The case grew colder. Until 3 years later, in 1984, a discovery was made over 100 miles away. Human remains in a remote area. Dental records confirmed it was Tina. She had been taken from the cabin that night. But what happened to her after was never fully determined. The case became one of the most mysterious unsolved murders in California history. Over the years, several suspects were investigated. One man, Martin Smart, was considered highly suspicious. He had known Sue. He lived nearby, and he suddenly left town shortly after the murders. Years later, his own wife told police she believed he was involved. But there was never enough evidence. No arrests, no convictions. Even decades later, new evidence surfaced. A recorded confession, DNA testing. But still, no one has ever been officially charged. The Keddie cabin murders remain unsolved, and investigators still don't know exactly what happened inside that cabin. But one thing is certain: whoever entered that house that night knew exactly what they were doing and walked away without ever being stopped.